No matter the circumstances, you always have two choices. So why not choose positive, advanced reality creation? Let's first acknowledge the materialistic, cynical, skeptical position, the one that stares you in the face with cold, unyielding logic, insisting that the universe is a vast, indifferent machine grinding away without a shred of care for your inner world. It whispers, or rather shouts, that thoughts and emotions are nothing more than ephemeral fireworks in the skull, flickering harmlessly against the unchangeable backdrop of physical reality. If your mind's wild dances of joy or despair had no influence whatsoever on your physical state, your life circumstances, or your personal reality, none, absolutely zero, not a whisper of ripple in the pond, well, let's pause there and let that sink in. Picture it, a world where the neurons firing in your brain are just isolated sparks, powerless to shift the atoms around you. No manifestation, no law of attraction, no mystical feedback loop between psyche and cosmos, just cold, hard matter doing its thing. In that barren landscape, stripped of any supernatural sway, what then? What is better? Feeling content, happy, and blissfully at ease, without the gnawing stress of tomorrow's uncertainties, or the heavy worries that weigh down your shoulders like invisible chains, or being plunged into emotional and mental turmoil, drowning in absolute dread, racked by unrelenting pain, spiraling into depression and misery that colors every breath a shade of gray? If it truly doesn't matter anyway, if your inner weather is just a private storm that rages unseen and unfelt by the world, then why on earth would you choose the thunderclouds over the sunshine? Why not think and feel positively? It's like being handed a menu in a restaurant where the food has no calories, no nutrition, no consequences. Would you order the bitter poison or the sweet nectar? The skeptic might shrug and say it's all illusion anyway, but even illusions have their flavors. And the flavor of positivity? It's intoxicating, liberating, a quiet rebellion against the void. But what exactly is it that dictates you feel and think horribly in the face of hardship? Is it some cosmic edict carved in stone? No. Is it the ironclad decree of fate itself? Hardly. More often than not, we point the finger at the circumstances, the cruel jokers in the deck that life deals us. Ah, the circumstances. They loom large in our stories, don't they? The empty bank account staring back from the screen like a hollow-eyed accusation. The partner who walked out the door leaving echoes in the silence. The diagnosis from the doctor that lands like a bomb in an otherwise ordinary day. We treat these as tyrants, as puppeteers yanking at our emotional strings. But let's dissect this myth right here, right now. The circumstances are what they are, neutral facts, inert data points on the timeline of existence. They do not dictate, they do not demand, they do not command your soul to kneel. Consider the empty bank account again. It does not communicate with you in sly whispers or outright threats. It does not yell obscenities in the dead of night. It does not raise a hand to strike you down. It just is, a number, or more precisely a glaring lack of numbers, etched on a digital screen, a fleeting pixel in the vast ledger of banks and bytes. It sits there, passive, oblivious to your panic. Does it care if you pace the floor at 3 a.m., heart pounding with visions of eviction and ramen noodles for eternity? Not a bit. It's a fact, not a feeling. And feelings? Those are your domain, your creation, your canvas. Now, turn to the partner who left. They are simply gone, not present, not haunting the corners of your home like some gothic specter. They do not talk to you anymore. Do not yell in heated arguments that once filled the air with electricity. Do not hit with words or worse. Their absence is a void, yes, but voids are shapeless until you pour your interpretation into them. You could fill that space with resentment, a bitter brew that ferments into lifelong grudges, or you could let it breathe, allowing gratitude for the chapters shared to soften the edges. The choice isn't theirs, it's yours. Or take the legal battle, the one that piles paperwork like a mountain and deadlines like avalanches. It doesn't strangle you with invisible hands in the quiet moments. It's just words on paper, clauses and counters, signatures and summonses, black ink on white sheets that might as well be ancient runes for all the personal malice they hold. No courtroom phantom creeps into your dreams to choke the life from your peace. It exists in files and folders, in hearings and judgments, but it has no tendrils reaching into your heart unless you extend the invitation. You decide the mental and emotional impact this has on you. You alone. Not the judge's gavel, not the lawyer's bill, not the opposing counsel's smirk. You are the sovereign of your inner kingdom, and no external decree can breach those walls without your consent. Free yourself from the imagined tyranny of circumstances. That's the key phrase here. Imagined. We are master illusionists, aren't we? We conjure chains from shadows, thrones from thorns. You imagine certain circumstances to warrant, to absolutely necessitate, a certain mental and emotional response. The job loss becomes a verdict on your worthiness. The illness a punishment from the stars. The betrayal a scar that defines your every step. But they do not necessitate anything. They suggest, perhaps, but suggestion is not command. It's a whisper in a storm, easily drowned out by the roar of your own resolve. Imagine a quadriplegic bound to a chair that has become their world, every movement a negotiation with gravity and machinery, or a blind person, navigating darkness where light once danced. Now, offer them a trade. They step into your shoes. They lose all their money in a heartbeat, plunging into the same broke-as-a-joke existence you lament. They endure the divorce papers, the ink still wet with finality. They face the jail cell with its mountain of debt looming like a guillotine. But, and this is the twist, they can walk like you, feel the earth under their feet with the simple miracle of legs that obey. They can see like you, colors blooming, faces lighting up, horizons stretching without end. Exact same circumstances, the financial ruin, the heartbreak, the legal noose, but layered with the gift of mobility and sight. What do you think they'd feel? Absolute joy. Unfettered, explosive, can't believe this is real, joy. They'd dance in the rain of their misfortunes, laugh at the absurdity of it all, because perspective is the great alchemist, turning leaden woes into golden what-ifs. Exact same circumstances, but one person wallows in emotional agony, a self-made swamp of despair where every step sinks deeper. The other, in absolute unbelievable bliss, a mountaintop of gratitude where the air is crisp and the view eternal. This reveals, beyond doubt, that how circumstances are perceived is always irrevocably a matter of perspective. It's not the event that bites, it's the lens you peer through. Polish that lens with appreciation, and the world sharpens into focus. Smear it with victimhood, and everything blurs into blame. What did misery ever do for you that you owe it anything? Has it ever paid your bills with interest, whispered solutions in the dark, built bridges over the chasms it helped dig? No. Misery is a deadbeat relative who crashes on your couch, eats your food, and leaves you with the mess. Why are you loyal to the point of self-sacrifice, to a tyrant that gives you nothing but pain? It's a one-sided affair, this devotion to gloom. You pour your energy into its coffers, tears, sleepless nights, a body tensed like a bowstring, and what returns? Echoes of emptiness. Do you work for free in the outer world? Absolutely not, because that would be slavery, a theft of your most precious currency, time and effort. Then why, in the vast economy of the mind, do you labor endlessly for circumstances that don't even ask you for anything, that demand nothing in return? They're not your boss, they're not even your acquaintance. They're strangers passing through, and you're the one inviting them to dinner, serving up your peace on a platter. Suppose you were in the most horrible circumstances possible, the kind that make Hollywood disasters look like picnics. Evicted, alone, body failing, world crumbling. It couldn't possibly get worse. You're at rock bottom, staring up at the underside of existence. Even then, especially then, nobody and nothing demands that you feel and think in a certain way about it. There are no cosmic bailiffs knocking with subpoenas for your soul. No universal fine print that reads, "Misery mandatory upon delivery of hardship." There are no laws about it, etched in the stars or the statutes. No law on earth or in the ether forces you to feel misery about whatever circumstances befall you. Judges rule on contracts and crimes, not on the cadence of your heartbeat. Legislators debate taxes and treaties, not the tint of your thoughts. Nobody. It is simply a bad habit, a falsely perceived way of responding appropriately to negative circumstances, drilled into us by rote and repetition. The circumstances are negative, therefore one must think and feel negatively. It's the script we've memorized. But that is no law, no requirement, no necessity. It's a relic of immaturity, a corruption of instinct, a degeneracy of the spirit, a lie we tell ourselves to feel normal in an abnormal world. Habits are highways in the brain, worn deep by travel. But highways can be rerouted. You can pave new paths with intention, one thought at a time. How does that thinking and feeling negatively help anyway? Does it summon solutions from the ether? No. It clouds judgment, paralyzes action, turns molehills into mountains we dare not climb. Does it forge stronger bonds? Hardly. It repels, isolating you in a fortress of frowns. Does it heal the body? On the contrary, stress hormones flood the system like poison, weakening immunity, aging you prematurely, etching lines of worry where laughter should bloom. It does not help, it hinders. It makes everything worse, amplifying the very circumstances you rail against, like pouring gasoline on a fire you're trying to douse. How can a response, a behavior, a thought that makes things worse be the best possible response? It's madness, a logical cul-de-sac. If the skeptic's world is truly material only, then optimize for the only arena you control, the mind. Positivity isn't naivety, it's strategy. It's the lever that moves the world when muscles fail. History brims with examples, prisoners in gulags who found poetry in scraps of paper, survivors of shipwrecks who sang to the stars. Viktor Frankl, stripped of everything in Auschwitz, discovered that everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. He didn't manifest freedom. He forged it inwardly, and it sustained him through hell. Circumstances do not talk, do not act, do not demand. They just are the way they are. Neutral as neutrons, impartial as gravity. They unfold like weather patterns. Rain falls, sun rises, winds shift. But you decide how to respond to them. You are the interpreter, the alchemist, the director of this inner drama. The decision is yours and yours alone. No co-signers, no veto power from the void. Nobody and nothing forces you to feel or think a certain way about them. No deity dangles judgment, no algorithm tallies demerits. You may decide to feel joy, a radiant bloom that defies the frost. You may decide to feel misery, a shadow that swallows light. The choice is yours alone, always. It is a neutral choice, a fork in the road unmarked by billboards or beacons. If you want, you can feel miserable, wallow if it calls to you. If you want, you can feel joyful, dance in the downpour, for joy is the ultimate act of defiance. There are no laws that demand one or the other. There is no judgment from the jury of shoulds. You aren't forced, coerced, or cornered. You decide freely in the sovereign silence of yourself. And if thoughts and emotions had no influence whatsoever on the outer world, then this inner freedom becomes your greatest treasure, a private paradise impervious to plunder. Why squander it? Choose, today, now,